special guests, and off topics. In this segment, anything goes. You're listening to 3 p.m.
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing out there? My name is Charlie.
My name is DJ.
Jordan.
And my name is Sean.
And we wanted to do a mini episode, or like not a so serious one, for everyone in quarantine out there.
A little extra for you guys. Sean, hit it. All right, fast food restaurants.
Ooh.
Top 3. Fast food it has to have a drive-through.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A.
Wait, shut up.
Bro.
The rules. You need the rules first.
Rules.
We're going to start with third place.
Oh.
And go one by one. And then work our way up to
Okay.
first place.
There's only one.
Hold
The
on.
one with Jet Li. My third place restaurant that is fast food is...
Mine too. I'm going to say mine too. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'm still thinking
Yeah,
of my third
he
one,
was-
actually. I have my first and second.
I have my third.
You played that out like you already had your third.
You start with your third.
Taco Bell.
You go first.
Taco Bell.
Oh, knuckles, dog.
If I'm thinking strictly where I go the most, it has to be In-N-Out.
For your
For
third?
I'm thinking which one I go to the most.
Top 3 still good, though.
Bro, Wendy's. Wendy's my number 3. Wendy's is number 3.
Okay. Why is Wendy's your number 3?
First off, just the quality alone of Wendy's, right? They got good nuggets. They have like the deals. When I was really poor, like 6 years ago,
And
2 months,
yesterday?
2 months ago, yesterday, I would just get Wendy's chicken sandwich. It's like hella cheap, you know?
It's true.
And I didn't feel like I wanted to kill myself, like if I ate at McDonald's or somewhere else.
Plus, the 4 for 4 deal is money.
Didn't they switch it
Facts.
to like 5 for 4 or something recently?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
I
God
seen
bless
it.
Wendy's. And they have a good like social media presence, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wendy's
they're
has the
fire.
best social media presence
They come with
because
heat.
they know how to connect with our age group. Taco Bell.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Yeah, you, Gen Z.
Taco Bell is, dude, they're the most ambitious fast food restaurant of all time.
Taco Bell?
Where
The
else?
collabs,
Yeah.
the new flavors, the constant changing of menu. They have 4 ingredients and yet 400 items on the menu. What's happening?
Taco Bell's innovation's like Apple, but for fast food.
It's like if Elon Musk opened up a fast food restaurant, it'd be Taco Bell. X.
Like quesadilla and burrito in the same.
Spicy gordita
Doritos?
crunch.
With Doritos and lava sauce, whatever that is.
What the hell is lava sauce?
Taco Bell's in the future, dude. It's like Xenon Gorilla 21st Century food.
I don't think we're gonna ever really appreciate Taco Bell's like quality until long past our time.
Until we leave it or lose it.
They're like the
Right,
Bach
right.
of fast food.
I am still about those cinnamon twists as well. Even though they're just sugary
Styrofoam.
packing peanuts.
Yeah. I'm putting Taco Bell in my top 3 because it's undeniably delicious.
True.
And like people for some reason love to like rag on Taco Bell like, oh, it's it's terrible. Like it's fake. It's not pretending to be real Mexican food.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
Let's establish
Not
that.
like
Yeah.
Cafe
That sounds
Rio,
like an
dude.
argument from a boomer who can't eat it because
Yeah.
they're too old. Sorry, your metabolism can't handle it.
But Taco Bell's lit, dude. It's so good. It's like the perfect road trip food. The sauce,
Sauce.
delicious.
Also, the BJ Blast. Oh, so good. One of the best sodas. Plus, they have like the monopoly on it.
It's true. You ain't getting that nowhere else, dog.
It's true.
Love me a little
Got a
BJ
BJ
Blast.
with some BJ Blast.
So do we have to agree on our top 3? Like, do we
No.
have to fight it
It's
out?
Indian.
Nah.
No, individual.
Just-
Okay,
just-
second
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Damn violent, bro. We
Well,
can
I'm
we
ready,
can
bro. That's all I'm
coexist. We
saying.
can coexist.
My number 2 is Taco Bell
Oh, okay, cool.
because I go there more than In-N-Out.
Well, my 2 is In-N-Out.
A
My 2 is Chick-fil-A.
It's your number 1. My two.
But you could guess.
I can't.
I can guess,
No.
Steve.
I can't think of. Oh.
No, it's not a
Oh, what the?
It's a Shake Shack.
That's fast food, isn't it? It's a. What else is out there? My number
give
two.
yours.
My number two is the best fake Mexican restaurant fast food place,
Cafe Rio.
Del Taco.
No, I
Del
remember. Jordan doesn't like Taco Bell.
No. Jordan likes Taco Bell.
Jake
not his
doesn't
top
like
three.
Taco
Jordan
Bell.
loves Del Taco.
Hey, okay.
Okay, so tell me why.
So like whenever you like mix things too much, it ruins the purity of the race, right? So like
It
for
also
me,
makes Jordan's,
It ruins
it makes Jordan's tummy feel a little bad.
so for me, first off, that double Del,
Bacon double Del
Bacon
are
Bro,
lit.
double
I
will
also
say.
Del?
F's with their burritos, bro.
chicken
the
soft
Big Fat Steak
tacos,
taco.
everything on that menu. You can even do the fish tacos in Iowa, and you won't feel horrible
I
afterwards.
don't know about that, bro. That's
That's a bold claim.
too far from the ocean.
Here's my thing with Del Taco is whenever I eat Del Taco, I do feel like I'm making poor life decisions. But I'm happy about it, but they're still bad decisions. Do you know what I mean? Like it's delicious, but then I feel like doo-doo caca.
There's always like hella homeless people just like hanging out all night in Del Taco too. So it's like, I hear you.
I do like their cream. I just think all their food is good to me, but not top 3 good to me. But I will respect your
They
decision.
have better vegetables than Taco Bell.
Interesting.
Like I noticed their shreddus is a lot more crisp
I hate you.
and green.
Shreddus.
Their tomatoes are ripe. So, 'cause Taco Bell sometimes there's a little bit of browning, but I can easily look past that when I have a Dorito shell. So,
Also, as a kid, I think it was, I don't know what town it was. I just remember Del Taco had a bomb play place, and I was like, damn. And I like
Taco
just
Bell with a play place?
no Del Taco.
Oh,
so when I was a kid, so like I just
Taco
feel
Bell's
like
just a wall you jump over.
Oh, they also
A
got a
brick
little
wall?
stream you can swim
Yeah.
across.
just a brick wall in the
A guard to
establishment.
run from.
Yeah, with a moat.
Okay, shout out my Mexicans. Or Canadians, bro. Why are you thinking only
Why are you limiting yourself?
bro, stay up there with your
all
free
borders
healthcare and
and your
legal weed.
moose?
All borders matter.
Okay, so are you guys the type of people to order only one thing from a restaurant for like
Bro.
15 years?
I order everything from the restaurant for 15 years, all at once.
That's true. Sean does get 14 things every time he goes.
I have to keep myself from spending over $20 at all fast food restaurants.
Some places that's harder than others. Wendy's,
is.
you would be dead.
Because you look at the dollar menu and you're like, man, that's such a good value. And then you just stack it up and at the end it's like $20. And you're
And
like,
I'm
what?
I
How?
have 8 sandwiches,
Well,
3
sir.
fries.
Sean
You got 9 McChickens.
Sean routinely gets to the window and they're asking, so how many are dining with you tonight? And Sean's always like, it's just me.
Just me.
Just shaming Sean.
Stop food shaming.
Sure,
me.
what large family are you feeding tonight?
Okay. Number 1.
For me, that's Chick-fil-A.
Same. Chick-fil-A.
Burger King.
Oh
Get the
my
fuck outta here,
gosh,
bro.
dude. I was so offended just now.
I worked at a Burger King for like a month as a teenager and wanted to kill myself ever since then.
You heard it from an insider. Even Burger King hates Burger King.
Remember they're like doing their chicken strips to their nuggets for like it was like $1.50 for like 20 nuggets. You're like, what the?
I tried it. It was probably the worst nuggets I've ever had.
Like if
I'd
you
rather go to
want
the store and buy frozen
the
nuggets,
Tyson.
put it in the oven and wait half an hour.
Them dino nugs.
Instant nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, you could just go and buy some cardboard. It's about the same.
I mean, I think it goes without saying.
Okay,
for
tell me your real
personally.
one because I'm getting nervous.
Just the service and the quality of
Okay,
Chick-fil-A.
please-
It's just
Okay.
like
Chick-fil-A is your
like
one?
honestly, I could eat at Chick-fil-A and be like, oh, I just ate at a decent restaurant and I don't feel like I
At
want
a
to kill myself.
5-star Michelin restaurant.
Dude,
Hey.
what other? Yeah, exactly. What other fast food chain has flowers on their table?
None is the answer.
That is the
I
correct
was
answer.
thinking.
My number 1 is In-N-Out.
Oh, this makes sense.
Okay. In-N-Out is so tasty to me I know I'm from California, and all Californians like suck In-N-Out's wiener, but I'm one of them apparently. But In-N-Out is so good. It's fresh. I don't feel I almost feel like I'm eating healthy. Almost. And I can't
With the animal style.
Can't beat animal style fries, dude. It's so good to me. I don't know what's happening.
Also, honorable mention for me, Jack in the Crack.
Okay.
Jack in
Same.
the Box tacos, bro.
That's my like I grew up eating those tacos, like
Bro.
Jack in the Box right outside our high school. So
If I'm gonna be honest, I probably would change my third one. I didn't know we were doing regional fast food. I thought we were doing like
The only stipulation
What,
was
Jollibee?
drive-through. What's your third then? Or your top? Or
I'd probably choose In-N-Out over Wendy's. Like I would
okay,
if I had the choice.
I was gonna say, bro, you can't. What?
Wendy's is good though.
But like better
Wendy's
than
is-
In-N-Out.
No,
dude.
no, I eat at In-N-Out way more than Wendy's.
I think all three of us have the same top three then, except for Jordan's substitute Taco Bell. for the top
Taco.
Go. All right. Well, then that wraps up the fast food throwdown.
Extravaganza.
Yeah.
We all eat the same things.
I have one more thing, just to highlight that out there, because I think in the current geopolitical climate, you're not allowed to disagree, and most people interpret disagreeing as an attack. But just to represent that you can have fundamentally different beliefs and still be friends, I say GIF, and DJ says GIF.
Gross.
So
Yeah.
you can have a friend who's
That's
out
true.
of their mind crazy and still be friends.
Jif is what I put on my bread when I'm having a sandwich.
Funny enough, they just released a special edition Jif peanut butter jar with a collaboration with the most used Jif website,
The
Jiffy.
meme
Jiffy.
conglomerate.
It's a
Yeah.
Jif GIF
and they
collab.
put a G on it because it's supposed to be pronounced Jif. So next,
Would you say GIF Raff, or what's your argument? You always say.
I can't remember. I had it written down somewhere. but- well, first the creator of it calls it Jif.
Well, isn't it graphic image format or something like that?
If you say it all across the board,
so GIF.
that doesn't mean there's other acronyms where you don't pronounce acronyms like the actual words.
What's an example? I'm just kidding. I'm just
That was
kidding.
one of my things. There, I had a few acronyms that aren't pronounced. But
I need 3 examples.
All right. Well, I'm just highlighting. You guys can have friends who have stupid beliefs and still be friends. I'm just kidding.
And if you're going to vote for us, you're in it.
Yeah.
Are treated as their own new words. You don't pronounce an acronym based on the words that make it up.
This guy
I guess
sounds
you
like someone I
pronounce
wouldn't believe.
JPEG as JPEG.
JPEG,
because P
JPEG.
stands for photographic. Or take laser, which stands for light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. I guess you pronounce that laser because the A is
Yeah.
short in amplification. Or take scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Oh, but wait, that's a short U in underwater, so it must be scuba.
ha, nerd.
His logic didn't seem very sound. Is my only thinking.
Oh yeah, you're right.
All he did was just give an example and say a reason why.
The
not the
examples
truth
you
of it.
asked for.
Not the truth,
It's
not
just
the truth.
it's one of the funniest arguments to me because it means nothing.
Not my GIF.
DJ, Sean, and Jordan all wiped their ass with their hand in the Philippines. By the way,
I still do. I still do.
I'm talking skin to freaking butt star
Okay,
or whatever.
I was gonna let me just real quick. If you
fell in the mud, you wouldn't just wipe
okay, so like say it's raining outside. You're out there. It's muddy. You fall. What are you gonna do? Get paper and wipe mud off of your body with paper? No, you're gonna take a shower like a human being.
Okay.
And clean yourself instead of having your freaking dingleberries from your toilet paper.
So what I would actually do is stand up, take a towel, wipe all the mud off, then take a shower and get all the rest. I wouldn't just stick my digits right on some log residue.
Okay, for an explanation, while
Yeah.
we lived in the Philippines, the stores there don't have toilet paper. Toilet paper is a luxury. I'm not
They've been
justifying
prepping
this,
for the corona.
but it is like that's their situation. It's a third world country. toilet paper isn't as much of a necessity as food, you know?
Right.
So that's those are the areas we lived in. We had to drive forever, sometimes even catch a boat to another island to go to a city that would have stores with toilet paper. So they have a whole mechanism where you have like a little ladle of water and you use both in conjunction with your hands. So that's why.
The custom was to wipe with your hands in the Philippines, and you guys assimilated to that.
Okay, here's the
Okay.
thing. I don't give a I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm not trying to walk around with shit in my pants.
That's true.
So I adapted.
I was
To set the
super-
record
Adapt,
straight,
overcome.
I never used my hand in my 2 years of living in the Philippines.
Whoa, you use
Ever.
someone else's.
No. My companion. hey, elder.
Come in here.
Want
gonna
my
need some
ass?
take someone poetically take me through the process then.
I already did. Okay, you pour the ladle of water behind you.
Like down the small of your back through your tushy crack.
Through the tushy crack.
So my first experience doing it, I was super against it. I was like, they're telling us about it beforehand. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna use my hand. I already have a weird relationship with the situation. Like I'm not trying to like add to it, you know. First morning in the Philippines, I walk into the bathroom. I have to go so bad. I go, and there's no toilet paper to be found.
You reach over and just hit an empty wall.
so then I look over
You reach
and
over and you
there's-
hit your neighbor because there's no wall.
I look over and there's this huge like tub of water and then like a ladle in the water. And somebody had already explained to me how you're supposed to do it. And I was like, well, I guess this is it. And so you just squat down, get a little soap on your hand from the bar of soap, which is designated to wipe your body with.
Y'all had
Fill the
Don't say
ladle.
body. We all know what you're wiping.
Sean says, y'all had soap.
Fill the ladle. And like you said, drop it down the small of your back as it just trickle. It's like a little waterfall to clean out your little.
How does it
butthole.
not just keep going down your legs?
Because you're squatted like a freaking
Oh, you have to be like
Yeah,
way
yeah.
athlete.
squatted.
Yeah, you're not standing up with this, dude.
I know. But I just kind of pictured him in like a 3/4 squat situation, but you're like fully sack to ground squatting.
Yeah.
Well, my sack, I mean,
The natural.
Plus, a
way.
lot of the
It's not that big.
toilets
Yeah, yeah.
there were almost like super low to the ground, like elementary school toilets. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, yeah. The small ones.
And none of them flushed either. You had to grab a big bucket
And you had to pour
manually
water in
flush it.
Yep.
Damn.
But
Y'all
yeah.
sacrificed.
I never used my hand on the mission. I always had like my mom would send me packages with like American delicacies. She'd send me like the little Kleenex packs that I would carry everywhere with me. I just didn't want to use my hand
Oh, I can understand why.
on the mission. And then when I went home, I did it once. I did it once with my hand just to say that I did it.
Oh,
Well, joke's on all y'all now, because without toilet paper, you're having to do it. Get wrecked.
I haven't used toilet paper. I've probably used toilet paper like a handful of times in the last 10 years of my life.
okay. I'm
being
gonna need you
honest,
to explain
same.
yourself.
It's funny to me how like excited you are on that fact.
Well,
Guys, get this.
like first off, I treat my taint with respect. You know, I'm not gonna.
Well, I don't disrespect my taint.
It sounds like you
punching
do.
it is
If
all
you're
you're
using, if you're using toilet paper, that's pretty disrespectful.
I
Wet
will
wipes.
take you through my process.
Wet wipes.
Wet wipes are nice.
Maybe like one or two swipes with the toilet paper,
Thank
but
you.
more than that, you're just ripping a noose off your body. You're
Here-
shaving it down.
Here's my thought on it all. If you simply just use toilet paper and walk away and act like you're clean, you're not. I'm sorry. You have shit in your asshole.
Exactly.
However, so this is the process that I have whatever. First, I take the toilet paper and I make a clean fold.
Dude, I make the cleanest
Not the
folds.
ball,
dude.
I
not
make
the
a-
scrunch.
You're not going to scrunch. You're
Clean
going
I
full.
take a papyrus scroll of toilet paper.
I run and grab the iron and get those creases so creased.
fold it. I do that
Yep.
multiple times.
There you go. Anyway, you hit it once or twice with that. Then you scrunch it up. Why, you might ask? Way more friction, a lot more grip. It's going to get in there and clean. So you make the ball, and it's like,
I don't
it
like
is kind of
this.
like a scratchy,
I don't like this
but
at
it's
all.
going to get everything. Then you hit it with 1 to 2 wet wipes because you got to be fresh. Then, if you have time, you take a shower, finish it all up.
That's literally
have
that's what I
time.
do.
I know. That's like the only way. If you don't do that, you have a poopy butt.
Yeah.
And stop lying to yourself.
Have you ever heard of the way where you can get by with just one
Yes,
sheet of
and I
toilet
hate
paper?
you.
Have you heard that?
There's no way in hell.
Should I demonstrate?
There are some like situations where you could not do that. If I eat ice cream, there's no way I could use one freaking sheet.
Okay, so DJ's demonstrating us. He just walked into the bathroom, grabbed one sheet of toilet paper from Kevin's toilet paper, which you owe him like $2 or $3 now for that.
Okay, what you're supposed to do. This is what somebody told me before I went to the Philippines. I was like, really?
You're getting it on your hand if you're using one square.
This is what you do. Take your single sheet, fold it in half. Take it again, fold it in half.
And these are hot dog and then hamburger folds for those out there.
Okay.
It's a square. Everything's a hamburger.
Make
whatever you
a
want it
square. It's a square. There's only hamburgers here.
No hot dogs up in this joint. Okay. You get the corner fold, and you rip a piece off of the corner. Now you get that piece, save it. It's important. Go back to your regular sheet. Have you heard this, Sean? Unfold it. Now you have a hole. This, you dress your finger with it.
You adorn a white robe. Sean
Just
would
like
be
this?
used to
You're
that.
fingering your beehole. Is that what's happening right now?
And you do your business. You
Wipe, wipe.
You wipe until you're
have
good.
shit
Get
on
some-
your
and
fingers
then
now.
Get some
And then-
Ferrero Rocher on there so you can
No. After you're done, use this to wipe it all off. And the last step, this little piece that you ripped off the corner, clean the inside of your fingernail.
That's worse than you just straight up using your hand.
That is a no for me, dog.
We need to put a warning at the top of this episode, like, if you want to continue to enjoy our podcast,
You have to be a
Caution.
14-year-old boy.
Anyway, I just wanted to discuss that. You guys never wiped with your right hand, though, right? It's only the left hand.
Left hand.
I did both.
Well, if I
to
just
mix
use my
things up.
if I use my bare hand, left.
Anytime I went to the bathroom in the Philippines, I had a complete like 45-minute bath. So it didn't matter what hand I was using, I was clean.
I use my left hand because my right hand is a lot more dexterous, and I need that for the water pour. Accuracy.
yeah.
Because if I miss the water pour, then I'm just going dry with my hand into that.
Just going diving in the
It
bog.
goes off the mid of your back and just to the floor. Damn it. I've missed.
Let's jump into it.
Pew, pew, pew.
No roll. Let's just share.
Okay, I have a really short one. So this person said they went camping with 4 of their friends at a cabin. And they were all sleeping in the same room. A couple of them were on the couch, but most of them were on the floor around the couch in their sleeping bags, right? In the middle of the night, she wakes up to a noise. And she sits up in her sleeping bag and looks around. And all 4 of her friends are sleep talking to each other.
Nope.
She said she could hear them be like grunting and mumbling, and then the other ones would like respond, and they were having a conversation.
I don't like that.
Talking shit in their sleep. I hate Kathy.
She said it freaked her out so much, but she didn't know what to do. She didn't want to wake them up, so she went to sleep. In the morning, she told them all, and all of them were like, no recollection. Obviously, they were sleeping, but she said that has never happened to her since. She's never heard of that ever happening,
Is
but
that
it
'cause
was
she doesn't hang out with them anymore.
because she's no longer friends with them. But she said that just like chilled her to the bone to realize all 4 of her friends are talking in their sleep to each other.
They all
no.
start sleepwalking towards her.
That's when you lose some friends.
Is it just me or do I feel a little left? Would I feel a little left out? You know,
Guys,
What were you guys talking about?
I wanna know.
Just pretend to start grunting, see if they respond to you.
Anyway, that's one of my short ones. We can pass it. Puff, puff, pass.
Are we going in a specific order?
I just figured you were close enough to grab the puff.
So my little story is an allegory from Chinese folklore,
Jesus.
as it being the Sabbath.
So without Jesus.
Jesus.
It's called the painted skin. A lot of life lessons to be heard here, so please pay attention carefully. So basically, the story goes that there's this man who's just wandering. You know, he's out in the streets getting his business done in his town, and he comes across a woman who just looks like disheveled, dirty, looks a little beaten up. So he approaches her and he's like, "Hey, are you okay? Is there anything that I can do to help you out or whatever?" He recalls that the woman is beautiful, even though she's kind of gone through whatever she's recently gone through. So he's like approaches her, wants to make sure that everything's okay. She's like, "I just had a bad relationship. This man, he was being really aggressive with me, and I just got out just in time," and kind of goes off this whole story about, you know, everything she's gone through. And so, of course, the man has empathy and is like, "Yeah, let's come to our place. You can stay here for a little bit." But unfortunately, or fortunately, the man is married. And so he brings this woman home. Wife isn't too pleased about that as well. Apparently, a relationship begins to form,
Coalesce.
coexist, coerce.
Whoa.
Yeah, so the woman starts living with the man and his wife, and then a relationship starts to begin with the man and the woman, right?
Oh,
and
I
so
thought you were going to say the wife and the woman.
he starts that.
It's 2020, dog.
Yeah, this is an older story. This is not modern day.
This is a 2010 story.
And so the relationship develops with the woman. They start sleeping together. The wife, of course, is just very upset. One night, though, the man is outside, you know, attending some chores. Sun goes down. He's approaching back to the home, and he sees through the window what looks like the woman. She's like laying on like a desk, but above the woman, he sees what he recalls as a demon painting on the woman. So the demon is painting all the facial expressions,
That's
the
hot.
different the different like mannerisms of the woman, and he's like witnessing this. And because he witnesses it, the devil then is aware that this man has now discovered his secret. So the next time that they're alone, the demon ends up killing the man by opening up his rib cage and stealing his heart.
Aggressive.
Yeah. So
Damn.
So, bam. So then the wife then comes home. She sees her husband like this, even though she knows that he's been cheating on her. She goes to this witch doctor, or you know the equivalent of that in China, and basically just begs for, you know, help. Hey, what can I do? I'm gonna do anything to save this man. Like, he's my husband. I love him. I don't care what he's done.
She
And
wants to
just-
save him after his heart's been ripped out of his chest.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Optimistic.
Yeah. It's China, dude. You can do a whole lot.
I bet. I mean, they are number one in like organ farming.
I have plenty of those in the back.
I can get you whatever kind you want to eat too.
Say no more, fam.
You want that 2-stroke or that 4-stroke? So she goes to the witch doctor guy, and he gives her some instructions of what she needs to do to bring this man back. But really, the story emphasizes that she like really like, maybe the word with the debases, is that right? Like, just really like puts herself down to like receive this help. To like and so she really just kind of goes out of her way to do that. He tells her to
The witch doctor?
The witch doctor gives
At
her
this
this.
point, it's just a doctor.
It's just a doctor. Yeah, this doctor gives her this flower that she needs to eat, and so she eats the flower. And he says, you know, after you eat the flower, eventually you'll like know what to do to be able to like save your husband or whatever. And she's like, that's not helpful. So she goes back home. She goes back home to her husband, and you know, as she gets home and as she sees her husband, she starts to like gag something up, and then a human heart comes out of her mouth,
It's not hers, is it?
and then she places that into
Oh.
her husband's chest, and then he's alive, and then they live not super happily because he cheated on her, and then she. Moral of the story, the guy says, is she like degraded herself for a man who like degraded her, And so it's like you're supposed to learn from the story, like, screw that dude, you move on, and don't cheat on your wife.
Morals.
Okay. Part of me is like, wow, that's so progressive and like feminine and stuff. And then part of me is like, even Chinese allegories are dog shit.
Isn't it wild?
Made in
Like,
China.
it's
That
so
allegory
crazy.
was made in China.
That's petty. Bitter.
That imagery though of looking in the window and seeing a demon like painting on expressions, creepy as F to me.
Mm-hmm.
There is like I think there's like several Asian like stories and stuff of like having multiple faces and stuff like that. I don't know, it's interesting.
A lot of
that's
like
a Chinese like art or dance, like the face changing. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
With the masks.
They're
It's almost
switch
like a
masks.
magic. It's sick. Like they'll.
I know that there's a Japanese folklore of a lady with like multiple faces. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's crazy. It seems to be like kind of a theme.
I know like most like maybe not most, I could be exaggerating, but it seems like most like folklore or like mystical like creatures like that with regards to like China, a lot of like shapeshifters. It's like most of them
That makes sense.
can like transform and
Don't get me
wild
wrong.
stuff.
Your recounting was good.
Oh no
But it's just a sad story,
no,
like-
no, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Shape-shifting. That's crazy. On every level except physical, I am a wolf.
I identify as a wolf.
Okay, my short story is about a girl named,
Sue. Oh, that's a boy, my bad.
call her Abby. Abby's from London. So Abby, perfectly healthy, normal life, housewife, kids, happy relationship with her husband. She's sitting at home one day and she hears, "Please don't be afraid. I know it must be shocking for you to hear me speaking to you like this, but this is the easiest way I could think of. My friend and I used to work at the Children's Hospital, Great Ormond Street, and we would like to help you." She's hearing all of this in her head. Clear voice. She's never had any existing medical conditions. This voice is talking to her. She's in denial. Mind you, this is from an actual medical journal and study. Like it's published. So she is trying not to talk to this voice, but she can't get out of her head. She's never heard this voice before, any type of voice, from her recollection. And this voice says, just to make sure that, to confirm the authenticity of this conversation, it has her check on 3 things. And unfortunately, it doesn't say what 3 things that were given to her, but they all turned out to be true. After that was confirmed, the voice continued to tell her a critical piece of information that I'll share later in the story, but she ignores it. She goes on with her life. After a while, the voice doesn't talk to her as much. She goes on vacation and she's with her family. While she's on the vacation, at that point, she hadn't heard the voice for about a month. Voice comes back really strongly and says, "You need to go to this specific address right now." And at that point, she can't shake it. It's loud enough, it's strong enough where it convinces her. Her husband is concerned, naturally, but they end up going home and they start driving to this address. They park in front of this building and it's a medical clinic. And the voice tells her, go inside and ask for these specific things. She walks in and she tries to make an appointment. Somehow she gets an appointment as a walk-in. And after waiting some time, she meets with the doctor. She says, "I've been hearing these voices and they say I need to check these specific things," which is related to the critical piece of information that previously gave her when she was first hearing the voice. The doctor gives her a checkup and says, "There is nothing we can find wrong with you right now. And the things that this voice is telling you to do is an expensive checkup or procedure. So we usually only give those checkups and procedures if we can find any leads or confirm anything first, and we can't." At this point, she is pleading. So they set a date. He, against his natural judgment, decides to go with these voices, and it's a brain scan. And she has no medical background. this is just the voice that's telling her, and she tells him to check these specific areas in her brain. The date comes a couple weeks later. They do the brain scan, and they find a tumor in her brain. They operate on her, super dangerous, successful, and they remove the tumor. When she wakes up from the operation, Abby said that when she recovered consciousness after the operation, the voices came back and said, "We are pleased to have helped you. Goodbye." And she came in contact with the same doctor 12 years later. She never heard the voice again, never had any complications medically. She was living her life happily like she was previously. But yeah, this was like a published study, voices that gave her a diagnosis, specific diagnosis.
That's so wild. Like, and it knew specifically where in her brain she had the tumor and like where to check.
What was the hidden info that she ignored?
Oh yeah.
The specific things that they told her to look for.
So it was like,
Yeah.
you need to go into your...
Like, tell them to like specifically look at like the right frontal cortex, whatever. So, yeah.
Was she at first? I was thinking maybe the voices were a result because of the tumor,
Me too.
but then she heard the voices after the tumor was removed.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So,
That's
Bro,
wild.
if you're going to get haunted, Dr. Ghost, like, helping you be healthy is number one on my list.
Also, like, think about how easy it is to manipulate humans if you're a ghost. Like, they just got this chick to go get a brain scan.
Yeah.
I wonder what we could do when we become ghosts.
My doctors would just, or my ghost doctors would just be like, stop eating in and out. Start sleeping more.
You don't need that much sriracha.
This is boring. Yeah. Sriracha is tearing your insides up.
That's hard for the doctor too, because like you believe this person who says they're hearing voices to do a brain scan, especially if you have to have like some sort of diagnosis or something
in order to do
something.
the brain scan, yeah, and they couldn't find anything.
Y'all want this $4,000 check? Okay. I guess if that's what you want.
Well, over there, they have to pay for it. So I'd be like, okay, Abby, yeah, we'll do it. And then call, like, just commit her.
Pull
To-
up
to the ward.
club. Got my jeans on.
She's like, who are these people?
There's a nice padded wall cell for you, Abby.
I'll see this.
So
Right after you call him, Abby just turns to you and goes, what have you done?
cancel that order.
We're
That's cool.
with the brain scan.
That's crazy that that's documented.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally crazy, totally.
Science.
No,
Science.
it really is. It really is.
medicine.
Look it up, bro. If you want to look it up, it is
Yeah, I don't
Meats
trust you.
Van
Onion.
BMJ Clinical Research. The title of this article, not even, it's like one of those medical journals. It just says a difficult case, diagnosis made by hallucinatory voices.
So we came trying to prepare short stories for the mini episode, and DJ gets a medical journal.
I shortened it a ton.
I bet.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was
this
a great
it's,
telling.
It's like a 30-page paper.
Peer reviewed.
No, it was awesome. I loved it.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.
I just clowned.
All right.
We're done, right?
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
So I heard this story. It was a young couple and their little girl. They're buying a house. Now, previously, this house is being rented out by the owners. And shortly before they're supposed to close on the house, the renter unexpectedly dies in the house. Now, no priors. He's just a 40-year-old male, just dies in the living room. This doesn't really detract them. They end up closing on the house and moving in. And
Wait, so like a younger, that's not that old.
yeah, like a 40-year-old dude died in this house.
We all
Living
turned
room?
40 like
In the
next
living
year.
room.
And they're just moving right in, no big deal.
Yep, they were closing on it anyways. He was supposed to be out. This is around October-ish too, so
Now he's really out.
now
Laugh at your own joke like that.
I like that laugh. So shortly after they move into the house, their little girl, who's 2 years old, says that there's a ghost living in the house. Now, they don't really think about it, it's October. They've just given her this book about ghosts because they're fricks, sick fricks. And they're like, maybe this is coming from this book that she's reading now.
The Abake files.
And the other thing is she doesn't really seem to be afraid of the ghost that's living in the house too. So at one point, the dad says he kind of just like stood in the living room and was like, hey, you're good to stay here as long as you want. So this happens for a little bit.
Wait. He did that to like speak to the ghost?
Yep, to speak to the ghost.
You're giving it permission to do whatever it wants with you.
Just giving it permission. Then one rainy morning, they are about ready to take her to school. He's going to head to work after. And she says, the ghost is on the back porch. Today's his birthday. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, oh, happy birthday. Takes her to school. And then just for shits and giggles, he decides to look up the obituary for this dude who died in the house. And it was that day that he was born. And so they know who it is. But he's a nice ghost. He's like, chill.
Casper.
Casper, the friendly ghost.
boy.
Happy birthday. Damn it.
Dude, nice ghost. He's 40 years old hanging out with a 2-year-old. That's a pedophile.
Well, I mean,
It's his house.
it's true.
They came
And they
in,
gave him permission.
I don't
they
know.
encroached on his space.
It is consensual.
Okay. I did not think we were going to have this discussion.
But they all live happily ever after with their ghost friend. That's it.
Did he warn him of any tumors or anything?
No tumors.
Trash ghost.
But like maybe they had tumors, maybe they didn't. We don't know.
Huh. Let's say you're in that position. Would you move into you find the place of your dreams, but you know someone died there?
Like the last person that was owning it,
Sure.
or just somebody?
Yeah, last person owned
Depends
it.
on
Died
how-
in the living room.
It's your dream house.
Let's just say it's like you're pretty stoked on it.
Pretty stoked. I can. Depends on how much you've already put down and if you can actually move.
Let's say you can walk away clean.
Oh, I'm out.
Really?
There's plenty of fish
Bro,
in the
I'm
sea.
just imagining Jesse Pinkman's real house up in Idaho. And that house is dope.
Okay.
And if somebody died in there just before I was supposed to move in, I'd still move in.
What if it was in the bedroom you'd be sleeping in?
And it
I
was
mean, there's a
super
lot of
violent-
rooms in that
super
house.
violent death.
Okay, yeah. Now, what if it was a super violent death?
Lot
Not
of
just like
bad-
I died from a heart attack. Like someone was murdered.
Like their heart was ripped out of their chest.
Yeah.
And then they
Damn,
sneezed
this
one
is straight
back into it.
Kalima.
Kalima heart.
Kalima.
Oh.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
And there's visible dark energy like when you enter that room.
Visible dark energy.
Like you can see that shit.
And
Satan's
every night
there.
there's a man above you with a knife.
Have you seen
I don't know.
We're just trying to find Sean's limit.
What's that movie where it's like Jonah Hill and that's like the end of the world?
oh.
This is the end.
This is
Oh.
the end.
It's like that with the devil scene. That's what Sean will experience.
The big floppy. Anyway. I don't know. If I knew a person died violently in the house, I would be. I don't know if I could live day to day with that knowledge. It would mess with me, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to like imagine that, like moving into a house because most of the time I live out of my car or rent from a friend. So I'd probably just be happy to be there.
Before we close this, little behind the scenes, Jordan escaped China like a week before this all went down.
Bro.
You want to tell us anything about it?
Sure. Yeah. So like I lived.
Or
pretty
does it
close
jeopardize
to-
you because you're still in school?
Oh no. It
Okay.
doesn't jeopardize unless I like were to like share my opinion on how things were handled, but I won't do that.
We'll do that off the air.
Yeah. So I left China in January.
It was handled well, by the way.
Shout
A
out.
few days before they cut off travel, or they at least announced that they were stopping travel, at least to the U.S. from China. And if I would have waited a week or so, I would have had to gotten on like a special plane. Like the U.S. had a couple people, or the U.S. was actually flying citizens out
Air
back
Force
to the
One?
U.S. Yeah. Trump was like, "Hey, you guys want to ride?"
Crazy.
And so I flew out of Shanghai. So my city is like 50 minutes away from Wuhan.
Dude, you were at the epicenter. dog.
I wasn't in Wuhan, but I rode these trains What I did is I wanted to save $15, and so I was like, I'm not gonna ride the high speed train. I want to ride the overnight train, and so I ride not with just like I'm not riding with like the average. Like I'm riding with the poor of the poor in China, and I'm like.
And I'm sure you guys are all like spread apart, and it's really sparsely.
A lot of
Everyone
room,
has their own cabins.
A lot of room, you know. So there's like 6 people. I think I might have told it last time, but there's like 6 people in like a cubby, right? And so you get on this train, and I'm sleeping in a bed, and then there's 2 beds above me, and then there's a person next to me in a bed where if I reached my right arm out, I would be touching their bed.
Oh my god!
I'm clearly the only foreigner on board. And because it's an overnight train, it stops at every single stop. And so the train came from Wuhan. 100%. I know that. But I mean, most likely it did because it was the biggest city that was next door, and people had masks on, and we had been hearing the talk about the virus, but it hadn't gotten to us yet. And I was just like, I'm so glad my flight's next week because I need to get out. And I almost got a flight for the end of January. And I'd probably still be there right now.
Damn.
I'd probably be dead. That's kidding.
We were all pretty nervous when you were coming over because we're like, gosh dang it, dude, he's going to bring some virus. But you were home long enough before we all hung out. He hadn't shown any symptoms, so all of us were like, okay, he's good.
I was
Jordan's
actually
been healthier
It's actually
since he's
something.
been
It's
back.
funny because like people like brought up to me, and I'm like, literally, that's like what I was thinking about. Like as I was leaving, I was like, yeah, I don't think I have anything. I don't seem to have anything, but yeah. So I barely got out of there.
And Jordan probably has the most compromised immune system out of all of us.
From years of wrestling and hard training and dieting and 67 plus rounds of antibiotics.
I've actually been coughing a lot less.
I know.
I think
Jordan
it's
had
a,
whooping cough for like 4 years when we first moved to Utah. And then the coronavirus breaks out and he hasn't like coughed
Well,
once.
and I had bronchitis, which is like the worry that you get from these kind of things because you get that the fluid in your lungs and stuff. So it's like I've already like been there. So I'm just like a matter of time to like catch this.
Anyway.
It's chasing me.
Guys, this was a fun mini-sode. Hopefully we can do this more. We just want to make sure all the listeners out there have something to do while they're bored out of their minds. So we want to do this. Plus, we wanted to record with Jordan before he went back home to Montana.
Do you guys have good are you guys because like there's definitely good information out there about the virus and there's a lot of bad information out there.
Yeah.
Do you guys suggest anything to people or are you just kind of like good luck?
I always do that. Dude, my paint's starting to fall off. That's what it is.
Just came from Wuhan.
Oh gosh, damn it.
Oh, damn it.
No,
Literally just said, my cough's going down, guys.
we talked about it,
I'm kind of feeling kind of hot.
and everyone out there, if you've ever done business with any company in the world, I'm sure your inbox is just flooded with like things we're doing about Corona. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. We purchased a domain from Squarespace is like, you know,
Thanks.
things we're doing to prevent Corona.
Thank you, Quick Quack Car Wash.
Yeah.
Car wash, but they probably did.
So everything out there is just like 100% focused on that. And Travis messaged me and was like, yo, I've listened to 20 episodes of you guys in the last week because I've been trying to avoid coronavirus stuff. So we wanted to be like a rest from that and reprieve because it's just like jammed down your throat all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we've just been focusing on having fun. And at the very end, if we do say anything on it, it's just think of others around you and
Be aware,
yeah.
or just hoping to like keep spirits up.
If I were to suggest something, Joe Rogan did have a specialist from the CDC on that I thought was very insightful and very, I don't know, I learned a lot from it. That's all I'll say.
That's like the podcast, especially with like, because this has been something I've been like dealing with. Well, not that I was like there during the quarantine, but like my classes are online. I was constantly in communication with people who are quarantined out there. Based off of like that episode, I was like, oh, this is like based off of other people who say that they're experts. It matched up really well with what he was saying, and it's like he's like worked with like what 5 presidencies or something crazy. So I was just like, oh, you have a pretty solid track record, and this is like what and he like predicted this, so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll trust you, I guess.
I'm trying to look up the episode right now just because it might
Michael Osterholm, I think is what his
be.
name
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
But anyway, so yeah, that's our suggestion is just actually there is one thing I want to talk about. I just watched it. Can you pull up Andrew Schulz's? This is the second time we've referenced him recently. But look up Andrew Schulz's Instagram, someone.
Oh, Instagram?
Yeah. Okay. I was just going to share this with like us in our group, but we might as well share this with everyone.
Was it the content about putting
Just
out content
create.
right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was basically quoting last time when I was saying that.
But let's watch it.
I know that sounds crazy, but this is an amazing once in a lifetime opportunity, okay? The government most likely is going to force you to stay home. F***ing use it, okay? Use it to do all the things that you've wanted to do, but you haven't had time for. Do you want to try writing a comedy sketch? Do it. You thought that TikTok app was cool? F***ing do it, okay? You want to write a book? You want to read a book? Is there something on Netflix you've always wanted to watch, you didn't have the time? Remember that show Lost? What was it, Lost? Yeah. So Lost. It was like, how do I start this thing? Where will I get the time? Sopranos. How do I start this thing? Where would I get the time? You have the fucking time. If you cannot change a situation, change the way that you react to it. Okay? Shouts to Duval, man. He put that in my head. You can't change the situation. There's nothing we can do that's going to change it. If you get quarantined, you get quarantined. How are you going to use that fucking time? Create. Put out some dope shit. You have the internet. They're not taking away your internet, not taking away your electricity, not taking away your food, not taking away your water. They're basically putting you in creative jail. And sometimes when you are forced, right, to create, or you have absolutely nothing to do, you get the most creative. We could look at this like some doomsday shit, or we could look at this like, oh my God, I'm going to create my masterpiece out of this.
What I like too is they're putting out like his podcast. They usually only do like a couple episodes a week because they'll have like their Patreon and their regular. They've been putting out like 40-minute episodes like every single day since quarantine.
Damn.
Because that quote from his like a couple weeks old too. So it's like they're like he's not just saying it; they're like following through with it. And I think it's smart. Like why not? You have all the time now. There's no excuse.
But even for our listeners out there, this might sound like some woo-ha self-help BS, but it's like we're going to be in the situation no matter what, and the only thing you can change is your perspective on it. So why not turn it into a positive and be like, all right, I'm going to do what I've been saying I'm going to do for the last 5 years because now I have time. Really, the only excuse is now you. So like all of our excuses have been taken away because most people are like, I'm just so busy, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, nah, bro. You want to start making beats? Yikes.
It's like the middle of the day, and yet we're still getting haunted.
You want to start making beats? You wanted to make a mixtape? You wanted to write a rap? You know what I'm saying? You wanted to get in shape?
Do it. Just fucking do it.
It's up to you now.
What's interesting too is like this whole situation. It's so interesting to see how different people react to different things. And if you're so focused on a project or you have a goal or something, that's going to mentally distract you from the chaos from outside too. So that's only going to help your mental health anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other thing to me though. I also feel like you shouldn't be pressured by that.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Even if your thing is to relax, clear your headspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do your
That's
thing.
a worthy like task. Or
cares
that's a
what it
very
is?
worthwhile task is to like focus on your mental.
Like it doesn't like you're inside. That's still being productive. Like you don't have to build the next
Oh yeah.
biggest app either. You know, so or make the greatest song ever.
Even if you take up like self-awareness or meditation, it's like that's dope.
But also low key, I'm stoked for all the fire music that's gonna come out in the next like 6 months.
A lot of
true.
the artists
That's
and
true.
producers that I follow, which is like 70% of who I follow on social media, since all of their shows have been canceled, they've been like streaming on Twitch or posting more YouTube videos.
I saw Carmack mixing the other day, and I was like, we're gonna have some heat coming soon.
it's fun. It's cool. They're getting creative in the ways they make music and share it. So
Does anyone here have any goals that they've been putting off forever?
making music, but I'm also at the liberty of my computer because I've had the same laptop since 2012 and it's kicking the bucket.
And it like the world should have died in 2012.
It's had COVID-19 since 2017.
The Mayans prediction was actually about DJ's laptop. The calendar. Mine is I want to do a walkthrough of a video game. So people on YouTube play video games and you can like follow them and stuff like that. I know it's so nerdy, whatever. I want to do one. That's my goal.
That's cool. I like it.
I bought a specific thing so that I could start doing that, and it doesn't work. So I have to send it back. Made in China. in the 100-acre wood.
Seems like this virus is the only thing that was made well.
Why did you look at me when you said that?
Virus
Did
was
I?
made
I'm
well.
not from there. Charles like made in China and like looks at me. I didn't make it.
Sean, do you have any goals you've been putting off?
No, I feel like I'm pretty good.
You're not the
about-
type to put off goals.
But I did just start a goal this last week.
What was it?
My goal to run 100 miles in a week. I did 25 last week.
Not like just straight.
25 miles for the week. And for some people, this probably won't sound like a whole lot. For some people, it'll probably sound like a shit ton.
Well, Sean just started running like
Bro,
3 months ago, so that's pretty good. That's insane.
But
100
by,
miles in
Beginner
a week?
level, bro.
by
25
July, I'll
miles.
run 100 miles in a week.
Cool.
By then, I'll also have run about 900 miles to do that.
I've driven about
If I could
900
walk
miles in a week.
500 miles. Jordan, you have anything you've been putting off?
Oh yeah.
Share with the listeners so you're held accountable.
Not necessarily, but I just thinking I just want to like mix a lot.
And when he says
music.
mix, DJ Jordan and I really became friends through DJing. And so we have a controller where you can mix 2 songs or that's a stupid explanation. But we DJ.
ever
Jordan
seen
wants to
a-
We have
DJ. more.
turntables.
If Jordan ever makes it back to China, he actually has like a job opportunity to DJ there.
Dope.
in one of the big clubs in the city.
Yeah. Where they'll pay him like a G or 2 a week for like 2 nights of work.
Yeah, it'd be
Dope.
wild if that worked out.
So cool.
But I also need to
In USD,
no Chinese.
Chinese
No,
bucks.
but it'd be USD for it'd be a couple thousand USD.
Damn.
Is what it is.
For like
yeah.
Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few thousand. I also need to organize my footage because I film a ton.
Right.
And I have like everything organized up to like last summer, but I have not organized anything since last summer.
Yep.
And that's like
Jump on there, bro.
a
Start
lot
organizing.
of places and a lot of footage. So
Yeah, start editing. I want to see more film from you.
Yeah, dude, for real.
I have so much footage.
The last
that
one I
need to do
saw
stuff
was
with.
that summer video you did. Was it last year?
2014 or
No,
something.
that was a couple years ago. It's
couple
older
years
than
ago?
I thought.
Dude, that was a good video, though. You should. But bottom line is, just get out there and do whatever it is you've been putting off.
Or
set
get
a
in
goal.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get out there.
Stay in there.
But yeah, feel free to keep us all accountable. Message us on DM. If you guys are bored, like I said last week, hit us up.
Yo, hit us up if you have a goal you're going to do, too. So
Yeah,
we
let
can
us
be
know.
a part of that. That would be sick.
That would be fun. Our little 3 a.m. community. I like that. All right, everyone out there, bye, love you, be safe.
Stay healthy.
Love you all.
Be careful out there.
You guys switched yours up? I feel like I should have a new one now.
I did the same one. bro.
Bye. See ya.
We're over.
Too late.
Too late. We're done.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of 3 a.m. If you want to support us, visit our Patreon where patrons have access to exclusive content. If you're not able to support us monetarily, don't worry. This episode is on us. You can still rate and review us on whatever platform you listen to us on. It really does go a long way. You can also follow us on social media. Our handle everywhere, including Patreon, is the 3 a.m. pod. Finally, do you have any scary stories? If so, submit them to our website, the3ampodcast.com. We love any audio or visual aids that can help bring your stories to life. So file uploads are welcome with your written submissions. We're anxious and excited to hear from you.